Welcome to Hawg Huddle, your weekly opinion-based podcast dedicated to all things Razorbacks. From the highs and lows on the field and court to the biggest stories off of it, we've got you covered. Got a question or topic you want us to tackle? Email us or tweet us your thoughts, and we'll bring them into the huddle. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the latest. This is Hawg Huddle. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 10 of Hawg Huddle. I'm your host, Jesse Thurman. Thanks for listening in. Listen to last week's episode. Was not happy with my product. We're going to try to do better this week. I'm going to go back to my previous show prep routine. We're going to go from there. But with that said, there's the whistle. Let's jump in. We're going to start off with softball. Lady Razorbacks out on the softball field continue to dominate. Their only blemish on their record right now, they're 18-1, was that loss to number 4 UCLA last weekend at the Mary Nutters Collegiate Classic out in California. This weekend was Run Rule Special at Bogle Park. Started off strong Friday. Iowa came in, beat them 9-0 for a Run Rule win. Followed that up with a 12-4 run rule win over Illinois. That capped off the night Friday. Saturday, same thing all over again. 12-0 over Iowa, 10-1 over Illinois, both cut short. And then on Sunday, Coach Deifel and her crew capped it off with a 13-2 victory over Missouri State. They are rocking and rolling. Like I said, only blemish came against a very strong number 4 in the country UCLA team. And we're going to find out what they're made of coming up because Friday night they head down to Oxford at 6 p.m. to start their SEC opening series. Like I said, that'll be at 6 p.m. Friday night. I believe it's 6 p.m. Saturday and 3 o'clock, I think, on Sunday, maybe noon. First pitch on Sunday. All 3 of those games will be on SEC Network Plus. So if you want to see some good softball, tune into that. But let's stay with the ladies' side of Razorback sports. My wife and I, after we got done at Baum Walker on Friday, we headed over to Bud Walton and got to see the gym backs in action. And let me tell you, they are hype at these events. A lot of screaming kids, but Bud Walton was rocking. On the level of the Kansas exhibition game, because it was better than any regular season game I've been to. They've got one more home meet. That's going to be on March 14th at 6:45 p.m. That'll be right there at Bud Walton. I paid $26 at checkout for my wife and I ticket. Lower bowl seating. The lower bowl was probably 80% to 90% full for this event. So huge turnout. And them girls are something else. Girls, ladies, they're awesome. Almost seen a perfect 10 on the floor exercise. Not sure. I am no gymnastics savant. So I'm sure there was something that my untrained eye didn't see, but freshman Miss Roberson was killing it out there. Had an amazing floor routine. Bud Walton was rocking. It was a great time. If you have kids, they really cater the event to the young fan. If you have daughters that are interested in gymnastics or nieces, or you know someone who has a kid that's interested in gymnastics, tell them to check it out. Take them out there on Friday night. Have a good time. Again, that's March 14th, 6:45 for, I guess you call it first round in gymnastics. But great time. Had a blast. Highly suggest going to one more this year. And we'll move on to the ladies of the hardwood. We did get a W today. Congratulations, Coach Neighbors. had a 14-point deficit down there at A&M. They come roaring back, close it out for an 80-71 final. Next up, SEC tournament. I think everything gets to play. I don't expect us to be much better than one and done in the SEC tournament. This team is Izzy Higginbotham and Izzy. That's pretty much this women's team. She did. Let me see. I'm pulling up it on my watch. She breaks the single season free throw made record today with 231. She had an outstanding year. Glad she came to finish up her career on the Hill. Glad she was here. Just wish it would have been a better team and a better season for her. Staying on that, I did see a tweet that Coach Neighbors had agreed to leave the program at the end of the year. He is choosing to step away. A day or two later, I get a message, and there's another tweet from another outlet that he says he never said that, and that hadn't been done. So, Hunter Yurachek, ball's in your court, buddy. We need a new women's coach. And while I'm telling you what to do, fix the friggin' speakers in the hog pen at Baum Walker. You can't hear anything out there. And I know we're loud and rowdy out there, but we should be able to hear what's going on in the hog pen. You're always asking for money from everyone. I know you've got money. The Razorback Foundation is loaded. Let's spend a couple $1,000s and put a high-quality sound system in Baum Walker. These guys are some of the best in the nation. Baum Walker is supposed to be one of the top 3 venues in the nation. Let's make it look and sound like it. All right. While we're still on a pretty positive note, let's talk about 3 gritty wins by the Diamond Hogs at Baum Walker this weekend. Friday. Let's talk about Friday. I went Friday. As most of you know, I've said it on here before. Every game I've been to at Baum Walker, the Razorbacks have been victorious. I was very uneasy. Very, very uneasy Friday. Going into the bottom of the 4th, the Hogs were down 9-1, and I was out of beer. Luckily, they got the bats going. Scored 10 runs, I believe it was, in the bottom of the 4th. Hold on to take that game 11-10 and continue their winning ways at Baum Walker. Saturday, another close game. I think the final on that one was 8-5. Cahillo Aloy with a monstrosity of a shot to center field to give us that insurance. So I can't say enough good things about Aloy. Baby Aloy, little Aloy, Cahillo Aloy, whatever you want to call him. This kid is on fire. He is batting over 500. I expect to see his name in the lineup every day. It doesn't matter. Right-handed pitcher, left-handed pitcher. I bet if you got somebody out there throwing with their feet, he would hit them. That ball has to look like a beach ball coming into him right now because he is just absolutely mashing the ball. He actually had a single today, which I think may have been his first single of the weekend because everything he's hitting is extra base hits. He has far surpassed his brother, Vaheva, in pretty much all statistical categories at the plate. But great job. Glad he came here to play with his brother. Probably the only season they're going to play together because Vaheva will be playing for a major league team or organization next year. And make the most of it, young man. Had the opportunity to meet his parents back at the Oklahoma State exhibition in the fall. Very, down-to-earth people, great people. props to you, Mr. and Mrs. Alloy. You raised two amazing young men. Can't say enough good things about them. And then before I lose track, we did get the victory today. Granted, it took a walk-off in the bottom of the ninth because Christian Fouch, we'll get to him in a minute, had a very poor save attempt. Charlotte scores 2 in the top of the ninth. Luckily, Souza gets a clutch base hit finally. Hopefully that will help him break out of his slump. End up with bases loaded, and Logan Maxwell, I believe it was, hits a bloop out the center to score Souza. Game over. Hogs sweep the series. Can't ask for much more. I don't know if Charlotte is that much better than I thought, or if the Hogs are struggling that much. Only time's going to tell on that. Coming up, we've got 2 midweeks this week against Louisiana Monroe. Weather could play a factor in that because I believe it's a Tuesday-Wednesday series, and we're expecting some rough weather Tuesday. We'll see what happens there. Portland will be in town for a 3-game series this coming weekend. We've got a midweek with UCA next week, and then it's down to Swayze for the SEC opener against Ole Miss. Be a big test for the Hogs. Hopefully we can keep everything going the way it's going. We've just got to get a few things straightened out. So let's start with pitching. Christian Fouch. He's getting in his head. I'm not sure what's going on. He beamed 2 batters Friday. Beamed another batter today. Not sure what we need to do there. In DVH we trust. And Matt Hobbs. They'll get it figured out. But rough weekend for Christian Fouch. Gabe Gackle. That's 2 bad starts in a row for Gabe Gackle. Hopefully next weekend he can get back on track, get things back going the way he needs to. But I'm not liking how things are looking for Gabe Gackle right now. Zach Root did get roughed up a little bit. I still think he is probably the best starting pitcher we have. Although Landon Cheese had a good game today. Other than the home run he gave up, solid performance. He's looking real good. Gage Wood, if you haven't heard on his injury, he has an impingement in his shoulder. From everything I've read, watched, people that are a little more in the know of what's going on there, probably won't see him until at least Ole Miss, possibly after that. Hopefully he will be back and get the Sunday start for Ole Miss. But even if not, Landon's doing a great job taking that role on Sunday. So I'd rather wait for Gage to be completely healthy rather than rush back, potentially create more of an injury problem that lingers longer into the season. Let's get him healthy. We got top of the line equipment, facilities, trainers. They know what they're doing. I'm going to trust in the program and let them do what they do best. And I'll sit back and enjoy it, call the Hogs, and enjoy baseball at its finest. All right. We're going to keep the positivity rolling for just a minute here. We're going to go ahead and jump into the hardwood and your Razorback men's basketball team. If you saw my TikTok to my reaction, I didn't post it until Friday morning when I finished watching the game. I was happy with the performance against Texas. Very happy with the first half, not so much with the second half. Even said Trevin Brazile was my MVP for that game. He had a great game. But let's be honest, we can't even really be happy about that win over Texas anymore. At least I can't. Some Hawg fans may take that. Anytime I can throw the horns down, we beat Texas, it's a great day. But the town of Columbia, whether it be Missouri or South Carolina, is kryptonite for men's Razorback basketball. Absolute demolition. I don't know what else to call it. That was horrible. I was out taking care of some things. I was going to watch the game on my phone while I was out and about, listen to it on the radio on the way home. 10 to 12 minutes into the game, we've scored 3 points. I turned it off. I was done. It was Columbia, Missouri all over again. If you remember back, Columbia, Missouri, 18-0 run by the Mizzou Tigers, and they demolished us in their gym. South Carolina did the same thing. And what's so bad about this is after the win from Texas, number 40 in the net, last 4 buys for the tournament, beat South Carolina, win one of the final 2, you're locked for the tournament. But after that performance, really, we have to win against Vandy and Mississippi State. I think we can still get in depending on what else happens around the country. Going 1 out of 2. But we need that. We need both of them. Last week on the show, I said I think this team can play with anyone in the country. And the way they had played in the games leading up to the South Carolina game, I believe that. Held in there with Auburn. Overcame Trey Johnson dropping 39 on us in Bud Walton. Still came out with the win. Gassed, exhausted in overtime. The way we played Saturday, I mean, I think the managers probably could have put up more of a fight than the varsity squad did. But in all seriousness, we've got to win these next 2. Got to get focused. Hopefully, Adu Thero can get that knee healthy. It is the knee. It's not his back. I'd said back. That's what I'd heard. Razorbacks released it. It is his knee hyperextension. Hopefully, we can get him back at least by the SEC tournament. I'd love to have him for one of these last 2 games. I think it would play a major role moving us from playing 7 players to playing 8. And with the energy and just raw talent that Thero has, that would be huge for us. I'm not giving up on the Hogs yet, but I have shifted a majority of my focus to softball and baseball at this point. Let's just hope for a better week on the hardwood this week, and we'll huddle up and talk through the chaos next week as I can't even talk. As basketball regular season wraps up and the boys get ready to head to Nashville for the SEC tournament. Before I go into my final segment here, which is a plug for another podcast, I do want to backtrack to baseball for a minute. I think we're far enough into the season. I want to give my 2 players that I'm most impressed with, 1 fielding, batting, 1 pitching, and my 2 players that I'm most disappointed in at this point. So for pitching, most impressed, Zach Root, 100%. That dude is nasty on the mound. Seems like I watched some of his pitching for ECU last year, but I just did not realize how good this kid was. I think he had 8 or 9 strikeouts this weekend. Just far and beyond impressed with what he's brought to the Hogs. You go on to the fielding, batting. We're not even going to talk fielding because we're going to talk batting, and it's Kahio Aloy. What this man is doing at the plate is what we thought his brother was going to do last year. Now, no shame on Vaheva. Dude's a heck of a player. Glad he's a Hog. Not dissing him in any way, but Cahillo's unreal. He's still batting over 500. He went 1 for 3 the other day, and it dropped his batting average. So he's got to hit better than, I think he's at 565 before today's game. So massively impressed with Vaheva this year early on, but especially Cahillo Aloy. As far as pitching, most disappointing, I'm going to go 2 here. Christian Fouch and Gabe Gackle. This weekend kind of put them right in the spotlight and not in a positive spotlight. I have full faith they'll get it going. Gabe was great last year. Christian was great last year. Just need them to get in their routine, get in the right mindset, and get back to doing what they did last year. Not terribly worried about them. It'll come with time, or Hobbs will set them down. We got a deep bullpen with a lot of arms ready to go. Another arm, just going to throw this out there. Wiggins had a rough outing in Arlington. Solid on the mound yesterday. Came in. Great showing. Another shout out. Parker Coyle with an immaculate inning today in the 8th. 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 strikeouts. The only way it gets any better than that is if you throw 3 pitches that are all ground outs or flyouts. 9 pitches, 9 strikes. That's good work right there. And keep that in mind, because that will go down as be a good bit of Hawg trivia knowledge. When's the last time an immaculate inning was thrown? That would be on Sunday, March 2nd in the 8th inning against Charlotte by Parker Coyle. Most disappointed in the field and batting, there again, it's going to be all batting, Nolan Souza. Huge Souza fan here. My buddy Brandon, we talked about it. He's got the intangibles. He's got the body. He's got the build. You follow Razorback baseball. You saw what he done as a freshman last year coming in. He's having a rough go at it right now. Did get a nice single today. Did get a couple RBIs over the weekend. We really need Nolan Souza to get the bat going. In the field, he's solid. He's our best option at second base, in my opinion. But Cam Kojal does good enough to take that spot because he hits better. You got to, with all the talent Dave Van Horn has on this team, you got to balance your fielding and your hitting, because the DH spot is locked up right now. The DH will be Aloy. I don't know what else to say about it other than he's got to get the bat going. But that'll wrap it up for that little segment on baseball. We're going to go ahead and close this thing out. But before I go, I want to let all my listeners in on an upcoming podcast by one Marcus MC Carlton. Worked with him over at Inside the Hog Pen. Great dude. Absolute basketball junkie. This dude, if there's a basketball game being played and he's nearby, he's probably going to go watch it just to enjoy the basketball. But he's coming out with a podcast called The Final Jump Shot. You can follow him on Twitter. I think he has a page for the podcast. He's on all major podcast outlets. He's got a teaser out right now. But what he's going to do is he's going to tell the stories, because he's a small school guy. He's going to tell the stories of those standout hometown heroes from the small schools that aren't there anymore due to consolidation or whatever reason, or just the small schools you don't hear about unless they win a state title. That's the only time they get any kind of recognition outside of their community. Not going to be covering people like Corliss, obviously. Corliss got his flowers. MC's giving flowers to the guys and the memories of the guys from small schools like Biggers Reno, Oil Trough. You get over in my neck of the woods, you got where I grew up, you got Guy Perkins, Nemo Vista, Wonderview. All the little schools that have those special players once in a generation or so, that they're the absolute hometown hero. But outside of that hometown, a lot of people have probably never heard of them. So make sure to look them up on major podcast providers. I know he's still trying to get the first episode out, but he does have a teaser out. So listen to that. It's very interesting. He kind of runs down what he's going to do. And I know he's preparing to launch his full-length episode. And hit him up on Twitter. If you're from a small town and you've got a guy that you know, hey, Joe Blow from out here in Timbuktu, Arkansas, he averaged 30, 20, and 10 every night. Well, nobody's ever heard of it. Nobody's probably going to know. And MC's doing a great job of getting down to those stories and telling them stories again so that those legends aren't gone and forgotten. MC's got a teaser episode out. He's preparing to launch his debut full-length episode. So if you like hearing the stories about basketball stars of yesteryear that you've probably never heard of before, make sure and look out for that. But that's going to wrap it up for this week. Until next time, take care. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Have a great week as always. And until next time, woo pig. Let me take this opportunity to say thank you for listening to Hawg Huddle this week. Make sure and subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. Tell your friends and follow us on socials. We're on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.